J-O-E in the place to be. HB on the track, it's like ecstasy. Rolling a well of 7 years, what we drink and be. Trying to sling the dopest rhymes in the galaxy. Let me take a minute though and relax your mind. Sometimes these words can be hard to find. 24/7 on that daily grind. Hearing voices in my head, man, they not that kind. Cause bitches be bitching, snitches keep snitching. The world keeps turning, and I keep hitching a ride instead of living my life. Yo, 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 yo.
Man, when you feel hungry, don't you have to eat?
Yo, yo, pump up the volume and digest this beat.
Rapscallions in the house with this lyrical truth.
When we're done with you, you're gonna ice your feet.
If the world ends tomorrow and you had one chance,
Hey, yo, would you start to move like it's your last dance?
yo, do something small in the past and present changes.
Do something now, the future rearranges.
Cause bitches keep bitching.
Yo, snitches keep snitching.
The world keeps turning.
And you start living your life instead of hitching a ride. Rapscallions.
Welcome everybody. This is Rapping with Rapscallions, episode 42. It's gonna be a good one. Looks like Joe's a little pixelated. Let me clear him up.
Man, I think you're doing this on purpose, HB.
I don't know what to tell you. Do you have your influencer light on, man? What do I tell you? We got a great show today. The topic of the show is Motocross champion Rudy Waller, which is just some of the things we're going to talk about because this guy does everything. Surf, skate, toda esa vaina. He does everything. Internationally famous. He's got some great stories for us. Can't wait to get started. But first of all, let's do the weekly Rapping with Rapscallions weekly roundup. Tell me, Joe, how was your week?
How was my week? My week was okay, HB. I always talk about work and stuff during the week. It was a busy week. I actually had an adventurous Wednesday. I got the chance once again after about a year and a half to visit La Jolla, the Nueva Jolla prison again. So that was nice. That was a nice thing to do. Yeah, it was a hot day.
Visiting prisoners?
I was visiting prisoners. It was a hot day. It was a tiring day, but I got to do that, so it made the week pretty exciting. Other than that, man, just trying to get back on the wheel of fitness, man, because we always talk about how good fitness is for your mental health. So just trying to stay up on that, man. Just trying to stay up on that, and then just DIY stuff all over my apartment, trying to make it habitable.
is that some stuff that you might have learned in college? All of these DIY projects?
I had so many DIY projects, so many DIYs. I like growing plants through hydroponics. I don't tell too many people about it, but I got some plants. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, and I saw you, dog, and that made it extra special.
That's true. Check it out. We got our merch on.
Boom. Feeling like Iron Man.
We got our merch. Do you have yours yet? You better hurry up and order it at PanamaRP.com. That's everything Rapscallions oriented. You can find all the links to our social media. If you want to look at us on YouTube, there's a little YouTube button. If you want to find us on Instagram, there's an Instagram button. If you want to do the Facebook's there. And if you happen to be on Mars, our biggest fan is the Mars rover. He streams
That's right.
every week.
Every week.
So my week was,
yeah. What was it like? Tell me, because you were in the city, dog.
I was in the city getting my car worked on. Had some work to do in the city at the building. So I was doing that. It takes a lot of planning to get all that stuff done in 1 week. And you know what else requires a lot of planning, Joe?
Tell me, HB, what requires planning?
Your college education. You don't want to wait too long to plan on that.
Listen, HB, let me tell you something. Graduation, man. When you're graduating, when you're there, when you're waiting in line, you're wearing your cap and gown, feeling excited, HB. Remember how that felt?
Oh, yeah.
Imagine if during that time you would have been like, oh, snap. I haven't saved enough money for college. That's terrible. No bueno, because you got to go to college, man. But I got to tell you something. There is a person that can help you out to get your savings in order, and that person is Luke Robertson, financial advisor, man. He can give you a free personalized college cost report to help you set yourself up for a lifetime of learning and experiences at the college of your choice. So if you want to reach out to Luke Robertson, financial advisor, you can hit him up at 757-481-0023, or you can send them an email at luke.robertson at edwardjones.com. And let me tell you something, man. It's no joke because college is expensive these days. So, man, you got to save money. You got to start saving money early on in life, HB.
That's true. That's true. I've known Luke my whole life. Good guy. He's helped us out with this merch that we got on. Merch shout out. He's helped us out with the merch. He's helped us plan. He's helped us with sponsorship. You know, you can open the phone book and find a bunch of financial advisors, but this is a game of trust. The Rapscallions trust Luke Robertson, who's our sponsor today. Thank you.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Thank you, Luke.
Another person that I've known my entire life is our guest. And we need to get started because this guy has done a lot of things. He's been all over the world. I played soccer with him. I played football with him. And he was always the champion of motocross. So right now we're bringing in Rudy Waller, motocross champion. Rudy, thank you so much for being here with us today. How you doing? Where are you calling in from? How are you doing? And
how's it going, guys? I'm here in El Valle, home. I'm here at home in El Valle, Panama.
Beautiful. That's nice. That's nice. So
you hear me?
Yeah.
Loud and clear.
Good.
Loud and clear. Loud and clear. Picture it's 5x5. Is that a motocross lingo? I don't know.
No, I don't know. Not sure.
How's your week been, Rudy? Talk to us, man. We want to know how your week's been. We talked about our week. Now you tell us about your week.
Week's been pretty hectic. Just been kind of laying low all week, chilling, kind of recuperating. I had a little accident last Sunday, and kind of just been laying low, trying to recover, get a little bit better.
All right.
Well, the Rapscallions send you positive vibes, so you get on that wellness track sooner rather
that road to recovery.
Road to recovery.
Yeah.
I imagine you're pretty accustomed to having broken bones and stuff like that. Considering your career, can you give us a quick breakdown of your renown? Like what is the highest that you have achieved, and in what field was it in?
I guess freestyle motocross. That's kind of what I was most known for when I rode. I raced, which is when I was in high school and all that, and then I raced pro for a couple of years. When I first moved to the States back in '98, but then that freestyle motocross is where they have the ramps and stuff, and then started doing that, and that became a career that lasted about almost 20 years, pretty much.
Incredible. So for those of you out there, that's like the freestyle stuff. That's where you see these giant jumps and these insane motions that the riders are going through. And Rudy did this internationally, took them around the world. Motocross. You also surfing, skating. What other extreme type sports did you participate in?
Same things we all did when we was kids. I just kept doing them. I just, I never stop. I do some BMX. Well, this pandemic, this COVID got me doing a lot of things that I didn't do for a lot of years, I have a son now that's 10 years old. So I started trying to get back to basics, figured why not BMX, so ended up getting this clunker BMX bike. And in November on Facebook for like $80, and thought it was really cool. Rebuilt it with my son, go out, broke my collarbone 9 pieces, had to get surgeries, and it was crazy. In my whole career racing, doing the jumps and everything, this was pretty gnarly. So that's been 6 months, and then now this one. So it's like I started doing the BMX, skateboarding. Now skateboarding's been the last thing that we've been doing a lot of lately, So we surf, skateboard, BMX, moto, kind of whatever he wants to do.
You got a shout out from
boards and wheels.
Rapscallions. Pedro Penaver sends you a shout out. He's like, "¿Qué pasó, Pirulo?"
Yeah, Pirulo. You can count on the friends from school. What's up, Pedro?
Oh man! All right, so you broke your collarbone. That was during the pandemic.
That was in
BMX.
Yeah, that was in October.
Wow, that's
Like-
crazy.
Like, pretty messed it up pretty bad. I have
Right.
9 screws in there.
Snap. Okay, now let's take it back then. Let's take it back because we know you've achieved a lot of things. I was doing some research. I was reading on you, man. I was reading up, doing my research on Rudy, and you've done a lot of stuff. You traveled all over the world. But before we talk about that, let's take it back to the past, HB. Let's take it back to the past, way back. Take it way back. Take it back. Take it back. When? How? Because you said you just kept on doing the things you love doing. But how did your love for motocross and extreme sports come about? Did it one day you just wake up and you were like, I'm gonna do extreme things? Or did you see something that inspired you? What happened?
That's just we grew up in different times. I mean, you know, everybody was out in the neighborhood trying to jump over the kids on the bicycles with the cinder block. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like, I don't know, dude, that's just the times we grew up. And then
Right.
I just excelled in some things, and some things I liked. And then my dad raced motorcycles, you know, way before I was born, like a long time ago. He raced flat track, you know, and he always talked about it. Motorcycles was always around our house, you know, always there was motorcycles. My dad had a shop. My dad was always a biker, but I never knew the racing side of it too much. My brother tried it a little bit, but with me, I don't know. I just, from the bicycles and then watching it it wasn't even on TV. So really, I can't say I saw it on the internet. I remember checking out magazines in Kurundu Elementary School.
Right.
When the book fair would come and you could go get magazines and stuff like that, and you could go, we would get, it was called Mini Cycle, and it was from the States, and it had like motocross, you know, and that would last us a whole year till the next magazine would come, you know. So we kind of would get little things from there. And I'm sure there was racing around the time here, but I was small, so I didn't really know about that. I just rode in my backyard, and every bump in my backyard was a track, you know. It was to me, in my head, I was racing, you know. And then I don't know, I never really thought I could it would be like a career. And then you know, one day, I think it was Mrs. White at Balboa High School. It was a counselor, maybe.
Guidance
I think her
counselor,
name, yeah, Mrs. White. You know, we had to fill out some stuff to see what we were gonna do with our lives and stuff, or whatever. And it came out that I should go to.
I'm mad at her. Apparently there's a job. Like, she gave me some bad advice, Rudy.
Oh,
apparently
man.
There's a job where you can massage the people who just got breast implants. You can
Yeah.
massage their chest.
Yeah.
That's a job.
Yeah, no.
Mrs. White never told me about that.
Well, mine came out. I had to go to clown college.
Okay.
So,
You know,
hey,
hey, speaking of clowns, Pedro Penaver says, I got run over by my cousin when he tried to jump over me.
that was at Los Rios, behind the pool.
Yeah, we all went around running over each other.
Oh
Steven
my.
Delano McFarland's tuned in. And of course, you know what he said?
You know, those stuffed empanadas are really good. You know, we got to get
Right,
some
a
down.
shout out to Steven, man. Steven's got the stuffed STUFT stuffed empanadas. We'll put a link on our page in case you guys want to order them.
Hey, send some over. We can taste them live on Rapping with Rapscallions.
Good stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
So you were talking to Miss White, and she had.
Yeah, it came up Clown College, and it was like Ringling Brothers. Really was Clown College. It was like stuntman work and stuff like that. And then, you know, maybe they had a point, you know. So decided to go for it, you know. And as long as I always made money, you know, it made sense. You know what I mean? Like I was doing it for nothing. I love to do it, and then it just kind of evolved, and I just never really gave up. And then it got, when I moved to the States, it got harder because over there, you know, there's the top of the top. You know, you're with the real guys up there. I came from being cool down here and making money to being broke and making nothing over there.
You guys listening out there to know he's being very humble. He was #1 in Panama and #1 in all of Latin America. And then that's when he started following that career and went to the U.S. So
Yeah,
that-
well, in the
that's part of
States,
way,
you
man.
wake
We wanna
up
hear
quick.
it.
You realize quick what being, you. I'm proud of everything that I won, but you realize that you want to be with the fast guys. You have to go where the fastest in the world are.
Right.
And up there, I was just one more of many, many, many. So it took a while to break through up there a little bit, and figure it out. It wasn't easy. And I found a way. I just always trying to find a way. And that's when freestyle came up, and then that was difficult because motocross already had a blueprint. You know what I mean? Like you could go and race, and either you got a factory ride and you made a lot of money with the factories from Japan and everything, or you can make it like 90% of the other guys that you guys see on TV and everything. 90% of those guys are, I don't know, nowadays maybe not as much, but they're making it to next weekend, but they're still picking away at it and they're trying. And I did that for a while, and then freestyle showed up. Freestyle was just starting, and that's what I always like to do. I like to jump far, show off. I like to show off, so that was like perfect for me. So I started doing freestyle, and then they're like, oh, we'll try to find a way to make money at this, and we started selling shows to fairs and dealerships and whoever would take it. If I needed to stay at a hotel, I'd find a way to exchange a freestyle show for a free night. You know what I mean? I wouldn't go. I
Can you
wouldn't pay.
explain to us a little bit what is freestyle? Like just the basics. Like
Yeah.
Well, you take the motorcycle, the same bike that you race motocross with, pretty much, dirt bike, and you jump ramps. Like sometimes it's metal to metal. Most of my career was metal to metal, but you jump, in the air and you do tricks. You get judged. At the beginning, it wasn't really judged. It was judged by like a crowd applause because it was always a show. When we started it, it was a show. It was like, it wasn't really a contest. It turned into it a little bit with a crowd. Whoever got the loudest cheers would, be like the winner. But so then you get judged. Nowadays, it's a full-on sport, like with judges and super technical, and it's a dangerous sport. People are doing double backflips, triple backflips on motorcycles, 80, 90 feet in the air. So it's like, it's dangerous. And it's just evolved so much. I've been out of it now professionally for about 10 years. I've done a couple shows here and there. Mostly I train, young kids to race. I have a lot of kids here in Panama that I've trained and started. I promote some races, do some events, but I haven't really jumped. I jumped a couple of years ago, maybe 2 years ago in Puerto Rico, and it was fun. But it's a dangerous sport. It's a dangerous sport.
how long had it been? You like when I ran into you, told me about that event in Puerto Rico and how it came about, and some of the hijinks you got into while you were over there. Can you tell us a little bit about that? But before you go into that, Brian Husted he said, need to find my signed Rudy Waller picture, LOL. See, I told you the crews are going to come out and start biting ankles. Brian Husted tuned in. Stephen McFarland says, I'm in the kitchen right now working. And then he says, how do you know what his empanadas taste like?
Because everything he makes is good, dog. Come on.
We already know, Steven.
Sopa contigo.
That's just trust. That's just
Estoy
trust.
dando un
I live
plug
with
y tú
him
estás dañándola. ¿Qué pasó contigo?
Yeah, that's right. You're getting free advertising, Steven. Get the pasta.
Seriously. Send some empanadas, by the way, FYI.
And he
Send some
told me
empanadas.
that he lets the garlic like marinate for like 48 days or something like that.
Yeah, it's like, there's a pot that he puts everything in and he screws the top on.
Yeah.
Steven's a good cook, man.
Yeah, always. Steven
There's a lot of cooking together.
Steven's a really good cook. Steven's, man, he's been cooking since school. Steven's good.
Yeah. So back to Puerto Rico. These guys got a hold of you. How long had it been since you'd done a jump before they contacted you?
A real jump, about 10, 11 years.
Wait, let's define what is a real jump. Define real jump.
I had done a couple of small shows here in Panama, like local shows at the racetrack here, or smaller, just a smaller metal to dirt jump, maybe 65 feet, no pressure, just kind of work my way back. Like little exhibitions here in Panama. I've done a couple throughout those 10 years. I've done maybe 3 or 4 here and there, but at my own pace. This was a show in a stadium where everything's set up. You have scaffolding metal ramps at the set distance, which is 75 feet from, point to point. You have a certain amount of feet to run, a certain amount of feet to brake. You're indoors. You have, 20,000 people there screaming, and you don't have really a chance to work your way into it. You just kind of, that's not really for, those are, like I said, they're shows. It's not a contest. It's not on, you don't land on dirt. You're landing on metal scaffolding. It's not something you want to go and learn there. So the guys that were invited there were all pros and everything. And I was the announcer, but my friend was the promoter, and he knows my capabilities and asked me to jump. I was like, hell yeah, of course, and I did it, I did it. It was cool. It was definitely an adrenaline rush, and it was super cool. I enjoyed it. All the guys were cool to me, like all the young generation of riders. It was cool. I had a good time.
Do the younger riders, do they approach the jump a little differently than you did, being old school?
Yeah, that's what I was telling you, the story about the like, we measure it, everybody measures, and whatever. I have to walk it off, I have to pace it. I have to pace it because that's how I know. I don't know really the other ways. And they're like, dude, you got to use your iPhone now. You can take a picture and it tells you the distance. I don't know how it works. There's a measuring device on your phone now.
I want to paint a picture here, though. I want to paint a picture. For the person who's never done it, and I've never done it because it absolutely terrifies me, you have a giant slope. And metal to metal means you have a metal track and you're landing on a metal track.
Yeah.
And metal to dirt means you're landing on dirt. So I imagine that's a little softer. But you're going up like big time, and then you're going across open space and you're landing on it. And so these guys are like, dude, just take a picture with your iPhone. Oh, Steven says it works really well on the iPhone. Well,
it does. It does work. It does work. But listen, I walked it off, and we discussed it back and forth. Me and the riders, we discussed the gap and everything. And I don't remember it was like 70 feet to like 75 feet or whatever. But people were having a hard time on that side, a little bit of a hard time with the distance. And they had measured it, remeasured it, and then I walked it, and I said, no, it's not that distance. And I don't remember what it was, but when I walked it, it was better than the iPhone distance. Whatever I had walked it off, it was better. That I do remember. So everybody laughed. They laughed at me, they thought it was cool. All those guys are my friends, and they were, they supported me. Like, they were like, go for it, like they never once were like, like in the racing, it's a little competitive and stuff like that, but freestyle, it's a show. So it's like a family. Like some of the guys like that were the vets on this tour were like the young guys back in the day, so it was really cool to hang out with them and see how they've come along and how they're influencing the younger riders and helping out, pass along the tradition, so it was neat. It was definitely, I'm glad I did it. I thought it was a little crazy because I was nervous the whole time, the whole airplane ride. I just kept telling myself in my head, same thing, you've done it a million times, it's gonna be fine. And it was fine. I did it, worked out, partied, came home, had a good time.
Pretty. Like, hey, everyone out there, everyone seems so busy out there while they're listening to the Rapscallions.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you guys send us a picture of what you're up to?
Yeah.
I think a lot of you guys saw on our feed today that Chechi was at the hospital with his newborn baby listening to the Rapscallions. So, Steven, send us a picture of you cooking up those empanadas, and we'll do a little cross.
Yeah, or put it up.
Advertising.
Put it up on the web. Tag Rapscallions and hashtag FamScallions. Let's let the world know what people are doing while they're listening to us.
And yeah, no joke, Steven. Those empanadas, I know they got to be great.
heard.
Man, I'm getting hungry. I'm getting hungry.
We never made empanadas, but we did a lot of cooking. And I know Steven always used to use my chef's knife as a dinner knife. And I got upset at him. I was like, why are you cutting your pork chops with my very special knife? And he's like, don't worry, don't worry. And he goes and he takes it and he sharpened it. And that thing was sharp as hell after he put his chef skills on it.
His special touch.
Good thing you didn't cut a finger off.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that. That messes up the peace sign.
That's right. Hey, Rudy. So you went to Puerto Rico. You did this jump. I guess you did several jumps. I was watching a video of you in Bogota doing, I guess, like these proper jumps, right? The metal to metal jumps, as you call them. What goes in your mind? Like when you're doing these jumps, man, is it all mechanic? Like, does your body already know what to do? Because I saw you sitting on that motorcycle. You were wearing a D Wade jersey, Miami Heat #3, and you just looked super cool, man. You were just like, this was happening. And you went up in the air, and you were like, your legs were going that way, and your head was going that way, and then you came down, and then you did it again. And I was like, man, like, are you thinking about this as you're doing it, or is it just like it's happening, and you just let whatever, like, the magic take control?
Pretty much, like I said, like I go over it in my head over and over and over and over and over, and I kind of know what I'm gonna do. I go over it so much in my head. As soon as I make that turn, and I'm committed to go, I'm going, you know, and I don't really think about it too much. I just know, you know, it's something you gotta go. You just gotta go. If you think about it and you start thinking about it, then you're done. Then you don't do it. You have to think about it. If you have to ask too many questions, don't do it.
Right.
You gotta know. You gotta know. You gotta be ready.
Have
you time it all.
Bailed on a jump?
Huh?
Have you ever bailed on a jump?
Yeah, a lot. Like
if you're just not prepared, you just don't do it because that's a life or death situation. Huh?
Yeah, but you bail because of different circumstances. I mean, sometimes you have to bail to save yourself. Like I've had to bail. Like I've come up to the ramp and it's been wet, for example, like the place where you're jumping, the arena, because of the moisture. The ramp's metal, that diamond plate, and you're coming up if you're in the States, the arenas have AC inside, so everything gets like humidity on it. Sometimes you come in and your tires hit the metal and you have to give it gas on the ramp to clear it, and you spin and you feel it spin, and you know you're not going to make it, so you have to make that decision. You know, do I bail? It just depends on the structure that you're landing on. If you're landing on a dirt landing, then maybe you don't bail, maybe you can tough it out. But if you're going to go through like the windshield of a Mack truck, that's your landing, because a lot of guys make landings out of the backs of trucks or something. You're going to go through a windshield of a bus, you bail. You know, you bail. You try to bail over and make it to the deck so you can slide down. So, you know. Okay. But you have to think that real quick.
So you practice until it becomes instinct, and then...
Or a chain can break. You can forget, sounds ridiculous, but you can forget to turn on the gas. A lot of guys, the little gas valve. A lot of guys been hurt real bad like that, because in racing, it's a custom. It's like just, a good racer, a good racer used to pull his bike up to the pits and turn the gas off so it wouldn't leak all over. You turn the gas valve off. You get back on, you always reach down and turn it back on. Well, freestyle motocross, you're doing shows and you're jumping, pulling in, going back out. You're in and out, and you forget sometimes, and you run out of gas going up the jump. You know, it just dies on you. Then you bail.
Yikes!
So
when you were getting big in the freestyle, was it already established, or were you kind of in the beginning? What was the stage like when you started doing that?
It was new. It was really new. Like, it was literally new. Like, it sounds crazy, but yeah, it was new. I was in, I guess, the right place at the right time, or I don't know if it was in the wrong place, whatever. However that saying goes, I just happened to be around at that time, people had been jumping and doing tricks for a long time, and BMX, the bicycles, that took that route, like the flips and the 360s and that kind of thing took over. I don't know how much you guys follow extreme sports. I mean, in the kind of mainstream, you've seen that that's more popular than the racing and the guys that are racing on the tracks and stuff like that in BMX. But kind of that happened with the freestyle motocross. When freestyle motocross was coming along, it blew up super quick, like real quick. Within a matter of 5-6 years, it was like all over X Games. It was ruling X Games. It was all over all the TV commercials in the States. It was like on all the Tonight shows, on all that stuff. It was like real quick for a lot of young guys that were racing motocross, trying to make a living doing that. The top pros that could jump kind of evolved into this new sport that was like a rebellion not against the racing, but against the industry and all that, like the clean cut, collared, factory sponsored riders. And then these were like the guys that were coming in, jumping with the black bikes, skulls on their stuff, like the Metal Militia. Like they were the ones that really started it all, like Metal Militia, Mike Metzger. Like there was a whole group of first guys that came out, and it was like more of a let's go have fun. They would ride in the desert out there in California. I lived in Florida, so we didn't have that. We didn't have the same kind of riding, but they started riding out there in California in the desert and doing tricks, and the old school guys, the best guys were the pros. Obviously, they were the best ones doing it, and that kind of evolved. And they did a contest, like I think it was in 1998 in Vegas. They did the first freestyle contest, and it was like crazy. It was super crazy to see like guys jumping and doing the Superman. A lot of the tricks that are basic now back then were unheard of. So yeah, when I saw that, the guys that were competing in those events were like friends of mine that I raced with, that I was racing with, that I had met in Latin America. I had raced all over Latin America with a lot of guys from the States that would come down, a lot of journeyman riders, like guys that would go try to make a living racing other countries for money. And a lot of those guys are good jumpers, hustlers, always trying to find a way, And it was that group of guys that would start jumping for money. We would at the arena crosses and a lot of the stuff overseas. In Costa Rica, we would go to these races, and in the halftime, they would pass a hat around and let you jump. Whoever wanted to be in this halftime show, me, of course, me. You're gonna make. How much money can I make? Well, I don't know. We're gonna pass a hat around. Whatever you get in the hat.
So it's safe to say,
wow.
It's safe to say that you're one of the pioneers of freestyle, then.
Yeah.
I
would.
I would say so. I mean, I don't know what's a pioneer. I mean, I know there wasn't a whole lot of people doing it. I mean, there wasn't a lot of people doing it. And I just was there. I was there, and I got invited to do some stuff, and I liked it. I just liked it. I liked it, and I just kept doing it, and it just worked.
Just to go back in time, I remember I heard a statement from one of our coaches, Coach Louis Husted. That he's the one that conditioned us the most, but we played soccer together, Rudy.
Yeah.
And I remember Coach Husted told me, he said, because to me, soccer required the most conditioning, and we sprinted and we ran and we did all this conditioning, but he said that you told him that the only thing that requires more conditioning is this type of motocross and freestyle work. Do you have any
for long?
No,
I don't think freestyle that much. That's something that's like quick, but like motocross, like motocross athletes are like some of the toughest athletes in the world. I mean, you figure a motorcycle weighs, I don't know, 200 and something pounds. I mean, someone's gonna come and quote me and say that I'm wrong, but around that. But you're moving it, even though it's on an axis, it's on a gyro, so you're not moving all that weight, but you're moving it left, right, up, down, left, right, for 45 minutes without stopping, hot, It was for a long time. I remember my dad was always proud of that. Like they used to have these lists of like before the internet, like the most physically demanding sports, and it was like motocross and soccer were always up there. Then cross country skiing started coming on the map for a lot of years. Like, but those three for some reason, soccer, cross country skiing, and motocross. It was always between those three for the most physically demanding sport in the world. You know, and Coach Husted knew about that, so that was always made me feel cool. Like I played high school sports. I mean I didn't really know much about that kind of stuff, and I didn't follow it because there was a lot of like learning, but I did it just because it was natural to me, and that was what you did. You know what I mean? But the fact that he knew about that was super cool, and then he always treated me like an athlete because I did that. A lot of the other, you know, not some of the coaches didn't think of motorcycling as a sport or whatever, and I don't feel like they respected it, but Coach Husted always did. You know, he always treated me like an athlete, and he would always tell that story like to people, and so that was always cool. And then I a lot of those sports to me felt kind of easy, you know, because it was just repetitious, you know, repetition.
But in football, you were what, a receiver and a defensive back, right?
I was a safety, strong safety. I was a receiver. I played tailback for a while. I played a little bit of wherever they told me to go.
Soccer,
You know?
you were a wing, if I recall.
I
Correctly.
played all around in soccer except for goalie. You know,
Hey, Alex Reyes is tuned in. He says yes, Pioneer.
Pioneer Stereo, Kenwood, JVC.
Good.
That's right.
Hey, maybe Steven will tune in. Will tell us about his Pioneer record players.
Oh man,
Rudy, what was it like? So when you were in high school, you were already doing motocross, right? You were racing.
I was racing. Let me think about
How
I don't know. I one thing, timing in my life, timing. I kind of go from injury to injury. That's how I got
right?
time shit. And back then I got hurt real bad when I was about 16, and doctor said I had to not race no more motorcycles. So I kind of quit.
That's it. You were done, they said.
I was done. So I quit.
wow.
Yeah, I broke my skull a bunch, and I was in the hospital for a while. So I kind of got, my mom made a deal with me, and I took the rest of the school year off. That was so in high school, I took the rest of that school year. That was right around the time of the crisis and all that shit. So I took that time off from motorcycling. I took off like 4 or 5 years. But that was at the same time of the crisis. So there was not really racing anyway. You know what I mean?
Okay.
By crisis, he's talking about all
The Noriega days.
stuff.
Yeah.
Noriega days.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So
Yeah, makes sense.
it kind of coincided, my injury, my career-ending injury, with the crisis. So I stopped.
Wow.
I stopped, and that's when I started surfing. I played football. I mean, I still was, when I was playing football, we were coming back from the crisis. It was after the invasion. It was after all that, right? Yeah. So that was when I played football.
They had to redo the field because that's where they had all the refugees in there. Remember?
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, I was just kind of venturing into that again. That was like, I hadn't rode a motorcycle in 5, 6 years, and I was on my way back from the beach or something with John Hanna, I think. I don't remember with who. And they're like, hey, come by and check out this track that they have motorcycle racing, you know? And I hadn't even touched a bike. I was so anti it because since I got hurt, I just kind of tuned that out, said, I'm never doing that again. You know, I'm not going to do that again.
Well, we've got some shout outs for you, Rudy. Alex Reyes says, I saw Rudy jumping and flying in the Figali Convention Center, and I was blown away in capital letters. Full speed, loud, blah, flying, awesome.
Thanks, man.
Steven says, ha! Rudy's mom used to hide little religious idols or ídolos in his dirt bike to protect him from getting hurt when riding.
Yeah. She does. She's always had my back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was racing, so I had stopped that whole time, and I had just come back, you know, and I got into it again by accident. I was taking a friend to the track. I was taking someone out there, and they're like, "Hey, you wanna go for a lap?" And I had my flip flops on, and I did it, and I remember that day after I did it, there was a big buzz like, oh, that I was coming back, you know, and I had just done like 2 laps in my flip flops and board shorts around the little
Right.
thing, you know, and then 3 or 4 days later, I got a call from Yamaha and said, "Hey, we heard you were at the track," and I was like, "Yeah,
No
I went to
way.
the track." They said, "Well, are you interested in racing? You can come by and pick up these brand new bikes," you know, and I was like, "What?"
What?
So I went to the doctor. I was clear, so I went and got the bikes. I rode for about maybe 2 or 3 weeks at the most. I mean, time is different, but you know, there's been a lot of injuries. But I would say about 2 or 3 weeks at the most, and then we got a call to go to a Latin American championship to represent Panama in Dominican Republic. And I had not raced in 6 years. I just got these bikes, you know, from my board
Wow.
short, half a lap at the track. And
That's
we
what
went.
Alex Reyes says. That's all it takes. 2 laps
That's-
in flaps.
And we
2
went.
laps and flap.
And we went, and I ended up like, it was incredible because the people there, like, I was telling them the story, like, man, I don't race. I haven't raced in 6, 7 years. I don't know. It's my, and everybody's like, no way, they don't believe me, you know. And I ended up like, I don't know, I think I ended up like top 10. I ended up top 10, like maybe 9th or something.
Wow.
And then from then on, I never stopped again. I mean, until I got hurt again in 97, 98. Then I was out for a little while. Then I was.
And that was here in Panama when you got hurt again in '97.
No, in the States. In the States, I got hurt. I went up there. I raced a couple pro races, and I blew out my knee. I tore my knee up real bad. My ACL, my medial, my PCL, just blew out my leg, and figured I was done with that. So I went and got a job. I worked. I was living in Cocoa Beach, Florida, and I was done with it. And then, you know, I thought I was done with it, and then people was like, "Hey, you used to do those jumps, right? Well, you check out what they're doing on TV." My friend Kenny Yoho called me from Tampa, and he's like, "You know, they're doing this freestyle thing, you know, and you did the videos and all this and that, and I have this idea. I'm gonna build this metal ramp, and we're gonna do these shows at the state fairs and shit." And is it pay? Let's go. You know, and
Did you do your first jump in board shorts and flip flops?
Yeah, man.
not flip flops, but we did wear shorts because it was like a lot of the riders, when the pros started switching over to this new sport, it was like the hoodlums. It was like all the misfits. It was not the cool guys, you know. Well, to me, it was the cool guys, but so the company started dropping all their riders. Like, you just stopped getting sponsored, you know. And then
Because you're doing jumps.
yeah, so then it became kind of fashionable to be like skater style, kind of. So guys were jumping like in big baggy dickies,
Right.
or
Pant legs are this wide.
yeah, but it's so they go over the boot. It's so it goes over the boots, and because when you're doing freestyle, if you have like super tight shit on, it's hard to flex your legs and everything. Now the stuff's all made of like a lycra and stretchy stuff, but before, you know, so we used to wear shorts. We used to wear shorts and skateboard pads, and it was like we cut our bikes all up so they'd look different, paint them black,
Right.
and it was kind of like, you know, it was kind of like
I got a
that.
few questions here for you, Rudy. Alex Reyes asks, have you ever done a backflip?
Yeah, I used to do backflips. I got hurt real bad practicing them, but I used to backflip. I never backflipped in any shows. I backflipped to dirt, you know, a whole bunch of times, you know.
And what is your most aggro trick?
I don't know, like what? Right now, my most aggro trick that I used to do that was always my go-to, to me, was like a kiss. It just went through stages. Like That's why I was a different kind of rider, because I was a show rider. I made my money kind of going to carnies, and I was a carny. You know what I mean? So I was whatever the crowd was into that night. I don't care if they were into like the fucking. Sorry about that. If they were into like super. No, seriously. If they were whatever they were into, that's what I was gonna do. But the
Right.
ones that I liked were the ones that had good-looking style. Like I used to like Kiss of Death. That was one of my favorite. The Kiss of Death.
Which is that one? What's that one? How does Kiss of Death go?
Cordovas. You jump and then you throw the bike like down, straight up and down, and then you jump off of it and you go straight up like that. And then so you kind of do a handstand on the handlebars, and the bike is straight down from you too.
Oh, snap.
You kiss the front fender and then you go up. They do that. They do all that upside down now. You know what I mean? Like everything that I used to do, they do upside down. So it's different. It's a different sport now. It's a different sport. I'll be honest.
Shoulder of giants, man. Someone has to do it first, right?
Yep, true.
I guess so. Yeah.
I have another question because we have a lot of old people tuning in right now.
Oh, thanks.
So
Peace.
Considering you've gone through a lot, of
Love it.
What's your tip for overcoming injuries? Do you have a top 3 things to tell people? Hey, you need to do this, this, and this, and that's the way that you recover from an injury. It's not the end of the world.
To me, yeah. I mean, my whole life. Maybe it's sad. I don't know. I don't think so. But it's like I measure time through injuries, through recovering from injuries, or
those are your landmarks then.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. And I mean, but every one of them prepared me for kind of the next one. Does it make any sense?
Of course.
Like,
right. Yeah.
Like I've been hurt where I've let it linger for years. Like when I broke my neck, I let it linger for 5 years, and I dealt with all kinds of stuff. I'm sorry, man. I dealt with all kinds of stuff because I was scared to get surgery on my neck, and I just kept going and making it work, So I kept just until it finally blew out. But in that time, I learned to deal with the pain, and then when I came back, it was quick. Like when you deal with something for 5-6 years, a month is not. Doesn't goes by quick.
Yeah.
It's hard sometimes. Like this one is probably the it's probably the most I don't know. It's probably the most one that I'm gonna have to get used to. But like all my other injuries, I knew that I was gonna get better. I knew it. I mean, I was really scared going in, but I trust the doctors. I know that I'm gonna do everything that I have to do to get better. So it doesn't matter what has to be done. If the doctor tells me what I have to do, I'm gonna do it. I don't care how much it hurts. I don't care how inconvenient it is. If he says you're gonna be better, this was gonna do, I'm gonna do it. And I have faith that God's timing is perfect for me. For me, I mean, every injury sets me up for the other one. Everything happens for a reason. So to me, my advice on people that get injured, and it's just an injury. You're gonna get better. You're walking.
Get up and get moving.
You're walking.
Word.
You're breathing.
Word.
Maybe you're not walking. But you're breathing. There's so much that you can do. And while you can do all that stuff, all that you can do will help what you can't do, until what you can't do just becomes a memory. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm serious.
I feel inspired, dude.
It is beautiful. We're gonna.
Seriously.
This is gonna have to go in the recap at the end of the show.
Does it
my
make sense?
God.
I mean,
You're breathing. Injury, you move. You gotta move.
Word. No, I hear you.
We got some comments here. Some interesting comments. Michelle McLean Huff says, "I'm not old." I have to say that a lion doesn't have to tell people they're a lion. Hugo Cabrera brings up a very important point because this is how I got introduced to this product. He says, "I thought Rudy was sponsored by Atlas." drinking Panama, que sopa.
I don't know. I think they've been sold. They've been sold, and
Yeah, the recipe
you
is
know,
different.
yeah, but you can't go wrong with that name.
Right, it's in the heart,
No, you
right?
can't.
I remember
You can't.
There you go.
we all drank Atlas because Rudy had the sponsorship and the cooler was full, loco.
Yeah,
Alex Reyes says he's got a new quote that he's gonna make a cuadro out of. He's gonna put on his wall. It says quotes pain, deal with it. Quote Rudy Waller.
it's
He also says God's timing. Amen. Dude, you're spreading.
Preach,
you're
man.
spreading,
Preach.
Nah.
spirituality here, Rudy.
Mm-hmm.
What else? What were we talking about? You were hanging out. With
I don't know.
Chinese and stuff.
How
That seems
I
like
mean,
an
how else can
interesting
you look at it?
avenue.
You just gotta look at it. It's just time.
No, for sure. And that's a very good way to look at it, man. Seriously. Especially in today's day and age when people feel that they're going through so many difficult things.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean-
but everybody is.
Have you
Everyone
broken
is.
your neck?
Everybody's
Yeah.
going through difficult things. Everybody.
Yeah,
But you know
yeah.
what? It could be worse. It
For
could be
sure.
way worse. I promise. It could be worse. So
For sure.
why even just think about what's gonna come? I'm so excited on what I'm gonna do now. Like that got me more
Right.
excited now. Like now I want to get better because I want to do so much. You know what I mean?
Keep moving. I want to do this. Can you give
Yeah.
us the top 3 of your most serious injuries to
Yeah,
help
please.
convince the people that they can get through it?
That they can do it. They can keep moving forward.
Well, my first one, I fractured my skull, like in 7 different places, and had some swelling in my brain, and it was scary. It took me away from the riding for a long time. I wasn't supposed to ride no more. Then after that was many years. Then I blew out my left knee. I blew out my medial, my ACL, my MCL, PCL. Thought it was over again too. You know, I've had a lot of other ones like in my ribs and stuff, but then my neck, I blew out a disc in my neck, C4, C5, blew out, had to get an artificial disc put in and had some hardware.
So you're
That
like a
was
bionic man.
a little
Seriously.
bit.
Hombre
And then
biónico.
this last year, I have 9 more here, and this one, and now this one. So
Man, that is remarkable. And through all of these situations, they were like, "You're never gonna ride again," and you were like, "Okay."
no, not the last ones. The first ones, yeah, the first ones. I feel like maybe like doctors that like used to tell you a lot more like, hey, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Or maybe it was because my mom talked to them and tell me that. I don't know. But no, I'm just kidding. My mom really likes it just as much or more than I do.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, man.
No, the latest ones, like the one in my neck, the guy was super. I was so lucky. Again, timing, God's timing. I lived in a place, and I put that off for 5 years. So scared of this neck surgery and all this. My arm used to go numb, my face, and man, the guy that helped develop this new technology lived 3 blocks from my house in Florida. You know what I mean? Like, I went to the guy and I was freaked out, you know, and the guy was so cool that he was willing to, you know, to do it. He told me I would do everything way better. And it's been, you know, a long time and it does. My neck doesn't bother me anymore, you know?
Do you have any lingering pain from any other injuries or?
Not anything you wouldn't expect. I mean, not anything like, I don't know, what's pain? What's pain to you?
I love it. I love this is a positive message for everyone else.
Seriously, man. I feel like I
Like
can go
I
do
have
anything.
pain, but I'm sure there's people that have a lot more pain than I do.
What's pain?
So
to you,
no,
like,
I don't. I don't even know what to say about that because
I stubbed my toe.
my pain might not be
Hurts.
your pain.
Yeah.
You know?
I accidentally stabbed myself with a pencil the other day, and my whole week was ruined, man. This is like a nice inspiration for me. I think this is a great.
Seriously.
message. I keep bringing it up because I want to put it into a nice little thing. It's like no matter what happens,
Sí,
to you,
un
if you don't keep
paquete.
moving,
Yeah, man.
You're still
Packaging.
breathing, and you should be more excited about the things that you're gonna do. I love that. Very
Hey,
positive.
man, it's amazing. All the
Well,
wonderful things you can still do for sure.
think about it. When you got anytime you've ever been hurt, do you start like thinking like, oh man,
Yeah, you know,
I
sad and
can't
shit.
like, I don't know what, I can't play frisbee anymore. I don't know what did you do? Like,
Yeah, nothing.
it's like you start
I sprained
thinking,
my thumb
I
watching
can't do
Netflix.
this,
You're like,
and
oh,
then
I can't change the channel.
and then you want to get better. You want to get better, and you want to get better to go do that. Like I want to get better. I want to get better now because I want to continue where I left off with my son skateboarding. Like we were skateboarding a
Word.
lot. We were skateboarding like I hadn't had so much fun skateboarding since I felt like a kid again. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's because I
That's
have a
what
kid. I
cracks me
get
up,
to
man.
relive that. So it's like an injury is not gonna stop me from doing that.
I
Beautiful.
love that zest for life because I'm
Me too,
scrolling down
man.
on Facebook and I see this guy doing like
Oh shit.
spins in the he's in the air spinning on a skateboard, and I was like, Dios mío. The last time I went skimboarding, I on the sand, and it took me like 10 minutes to get up. So,
Man, I tried to do a cartwheel and I was like, I'm dead. I will never ever walk again.
hey, you know what? This week we're gonna be inspired by Rudy Waller. I'm gonna have the little Rudy Waller on my shoulder, like, hey,
Me too, man.
Bro, I'm
Seriously.
serious.
and
I'm
do your
serious.
push-ups.
I'm serious. Whatever it is that you were into, I mean, you were telling me the other day when you came by that your back was giving you problems, right?
Ugh.
I was like that 2 years ago. I don't know. Whatever. I was in one of those places where I was riding just the necessary amount to get it done, doing the exercises the necessary amount to kind of go through the motions, and I was hurting myself a lot. My back hurt when I go driving. That's because you stopped doing all that stuff. That's because you stopped doing all that. If you start, it might be little stuff. You might think, oh, this is silly, but just walking, getting your core built back up. You built your core back up. Everything that you used to do, you can still do. Look at you. You're athletic, both of you guys. You guys, so
That's it.
there's no
Yeah.
reason
Thank
why
you.
your back should be, yeah, your back's gonna hurt if you don't do anything.
That's true.
Exactly.
You
You're
gotta
sitting in a
work
chair
your
all
core.
day, looking at a computer
You
monitor.
don't have to go and
Yeah,
be
either.
a gym guy and do all that, but you just go work your stretch. Stretching is important too at our age, Drink a lot
It's
of water.
moving.
Drink a lot of
Hey,
moving.
I apologize. I don't want to cut you off, Rudy, but you know what else is important?
What's up?
Is learning about your 401k options. It's
With Luke?
3:58. We're almost at the top of the hour. If you want to take this one, Rudy, you can. You
No,
you
I'm
can
good.
tell Luke. You know Luke.
You
Oh,
know,
Luke.
Luke.
What's up, Luke?
Joe, tell us about options. If you have a 401k and you're like, I don't know what the heck's going on.
Hey, listen, HB. Sometimes when you leave your employer, you're like, man, what am I gonna do with all my 401k options? You know what I'm saying, man? It happens all the time. But at Edward Jones, man, Luke Robertson can explain all the options for your 401k, including leaving the money in your former employer's plan, moving it to your new employer's plan, rolling it over to an individual retirement account, that's IRA for those of us in the know, or cashing out the account subject to tax consequences. These are things that you have to understand because, 401ks are important. So if you want to know what to do if you're leaving your employer, holler at Luke Robertson, financial advisor. You can call him at 757-481-0023 or send them an email at luke.robertson@edwardjones.com. Are you going to do that, HB?
Well done, Joe. That was beautiful. I mean, there's so much inspirational stuff here. Get up, get moving. Maybe you don't know how to get up and get moving with your financial situation. You know you got to do something. First step is make your first step calling Lucas Robertson.
Or send him an email
Send him an email. Send him an email.
What's up?
Get it done.
or a WhatsApp.
Or WhatsApp. Send him a
No, I don't know
WhatsApp.
what's
Send him
that.
a text message.
Or
Signal.
WhatsApp.
I think Signal's popular now. Just get up and get moving. You know what Rudy
Right.
Waller says? Get up, get moving.
Get
Just
up, get
go,
moving.
man. Go.
Oh,
Go.
man.
Go.
Just do what they
Go.
tell you to do. What the doctor says, man. Always.
See, I'm glad to hear you say that because there's so many people doubting doctors nowadays, man.
No,
People are
man.
like, doctors don't know nothing. And
No,
I'm
I
all
got-
like, but they're doctors.
They know exactly. They're the doctors, and I trust him. I trust him. I trust what he tells me. It's solid. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They know.
I hear
I
you.
don't know.
I'm not a doctor. I don't know how to fix somebody's spine.
No.
Somebody has to tell me. Oh,
They just tape a stick to their back and tell them to walk
seriously.
it off. Put some Vicks on it. Échale Vicks.
Yeah,
Big Paparu.
or Windex. Windex.
Windex. Échale Windex. Alex Reyes says, cool hand Luke Robertson. Hugo Cabrera. Drew says, just roll it over to the new IRA. Man, we got so many intelligent viejos out there listening to the show. I love it.
Yeah.
Rudy, what were we talking about? Let's jump back on track.
Rudy, I have a question for you. Since you're like
What's
the
up?
bionic man, you got metal all over your body, man. You're doing incredible things. Can you still get on a plane when you go to the airport and you walk through the metal detector?
Yeah, that
Does
doesn't
it-
have anything. I mean, that I think, I believe that stuff's titanium. I don't know.
Oh, it's titanium, man.
I would
You're
imagine. 'Cause
titanium, man.
I don't. It doesn't make any noises or anything when I go through. So
That's cool.
I don't know. I'm sure it
Sure,
comes up
that's
on the X-ray. But
That's true.
They
That's
see
interesting.
They
Yeah,
see
they're like, this guy's a
Terminator
robot.
coming through. 1000 is on the screen, like.
They're like, oh snap. Here's a more serious question. When you were racing in Panama and in the States also, I mean, it goes for both ways. What was your relationship like? Because with the other riders, because you were saying how on freestyle, you guys all like support each other and stuff, and you're like doing crazy tricks and all that stuff. But what about when you were racing? Were there any major rivalries that you had that you see some guy and you were like, oh, that guy, I'm gonna outrace him and stuff? Like, what was that like?
Not really, because like the guys that I rode with here, they were like pretty much, a lot of them, you know, my family, my dad would work on their bike sometimes.
Right.
They were, I want to say the motocross family was, everyone knew each other. You could be mad at somebody for a while, but that's just what it was.
Right.
And I never really cared that much. Like, I just always wanted to be better. I didn't care who it was. I just wanted.
So you were competing with yourself, basically.
Yeah.
It was just like a competition with yourself.
That came later. That came after I played football.
How was that? Please.
That came after I played football and I met Coach Bales. You know Coach Bales.
For sure.
I had played sports, and all the sports was it was cool, but it was easy for me. Like soccer, you know, that's all I really played was soccer. But in football I played Rams, but that was more like, you know, just put your head down and run. To me.
Yeah.
To me.
Right.
But when I played football for Coach Bales, when I played football there, it was strategy, and it was a lot of motivation, and a lot of you know, he used to say this thing to us that used to be it used to be practice like a champion today, and it used to say it at the entrance of our locker room, practice like a champion today, you know.
Right.
And here in Panama, the guys would sometimes beat me or whatever, but I don't think anyone had the work ethic or the training that I put into it because of football, because of Cayuca racing, because of my community, Canal Zone community, organized sports taught me that if you train, you're going to do better, you know? And then Coach Bales, so then when I came back, I raced when I was younger, and I did all that, and it was, you know, it was kind of like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. A hobby thing, 13, 14 years old. Then when I came back in my 20s and I came my second time around, you know, you got to either, what are you going to do? You're going to make money? You're going to go to school? You're going to go to college? So I went to PCC, but I was making money. I was making money racing. I was doing well for myself. And that's what I wanted to do, you know. But with the organized sports in the Canal Zone with Coach Bales, he taught me that. He taught me, you know, you train like a champion today, and then every day that you're not training, someone else out there is. And when you meet, he's going to win.
Yo.
Remember that always. If you're going to train for anything, you know, when you're sitting around, someone's not.
Right. When you're
You know.
sitting still, someone's moving.
Yeah,
No doubt.
and when you meet that person, that someone, they'll win.
Yeah.
So
No doubt.
that's what I used to do, and I used to. I had my own ways just from football. Like I would go and run and run and run. That wasn't normal in the motocross of the Panama days back then. It wasn't, and I don't even know if it still is. I mean, I think nowadays the kids are in shape because they go on those speed bicycles and the lycras and stuff. But I think that's a lot of fashion as well. You know what I mean? I think that's
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, you're going out. That's a whole nother story, but they're in shape, but it's different. It's different than when you're going out training for something like training, going to the gym, working out, like you're going to go try to win, the Dodds Scholastic Championship.
Yeah.
We were serious, man. HB knows.
Hey, I've got
football. We were serious.
I've got some shout outs on Instagram. We got Trina Clark. She says all these other guys, they were jealous of Rudy secretly.
I love
She
you,
says
Trina.
he was a natural talent and athlete. Not many had the ability. Hashtag
Love you,
truth.
Trina. Love you,
And then
Trina.
she said discipline! Exclamation marks.
In it, discipline, yeah. I
Got
mean,
more shout outs for you. Hold on, Rudy. You got some
Love you,
props
Trina.
coming in, brother. You got to take them. Alex Reyes says, "Thank you, Rudy. I've learned more in 45 minutes than all of these years about you. Very good philosophies, bro. Peace." Beautiful.
It's love,
hey,
dude.
it's all just life on Mango Street, bro.
That's right.
That's true. What you were saying early before we went to the shout outs is.
And look, everything he's saying that, and we could joke about it. But think about this. Think about who said that. Who is
Right.
that?
Yeah.
Okay.
No doubt.
That's a
no
guy
doubt,
that
no
writes
doubt.
music. That guy writes songs. That guy writes poetry that makes you smile and make you happy, right?
No doubt.
So for him to say that makes me feel good, because I respect his craft and I respect it. So to know that makes me feel good.
He says
doubt.
solid. LOMS. Alex Reyes says that. Is that what does that mean? I don't know. Is that a typo or is that something you guys know?
I don't know what he said. I don't know what that means.
LOMS.
I don't.
Say it again. What was it? Maybe it's like code for something.
LOMS.
I think he means meet him at Lums. No?
SOC.
Oh, it's possible. Okay.
It's not. I don't know, man.
Yeah, but it's true what you were saying earlier about the competitiveness. Oh, life on Mango Street, chuso.
Claro,
I'm gonna turn in my
You got to get.
my Shorty and Slim fan card 0001.
Seriously, you're gonna get that
No.
revoked, HB.
We get it revoked. That's the thing is we grew up in a very competitive environment, but it was also, I mean, I don't think of it as a detrimental because some people within that, if it's over competitive, it can be detrimental. But the way that we were friends and we had to compete against each other and still talk to each other in the hallways of the high school Cayuco race, I think was the most dramatic of everything. I was going to ask you is motocross training, is that competitiveness compared to the drama that came about with Cayuco race?
Man, Cayuco can get dramatic.
Cayuco's drama, man. Cayuco's drama, man. Cayuco's drama. Now, from what I hear, it's way more drama now. But the motocross is drama. Anytime you have drama's good though, because when you have a sport that involves families, think about it. Cayuco, families, you could have drama because you're gonna have to please the mom, the dad, the kid, his friends, his cousins, everybody. And when you're trying to please 100 different families, not just 100 different people, 100 different families, you're gonna have drama. So that's the same thing with the motocross. Everyone is up in each other's business because they're cousins or their friends or their ex-boyfriends. It's just when you have that family event, you don't see drama at like skateboarding events. You don't see those kids out there skateboarding, and fighting about, oh, you cheated. They don't care. It's different. Skateboarding was made by the skaters.
That's cool.
So-
Can you tell us a little bit more about that environment and how it compares to other sports that you played?
Yeah.
Which one? What environment?
With
Motocross?
skateboarding, like the skater attitude.
I feel like the skater mentality is more make make things happen with what you have. Make it happen because in the beginning you weren't even allowed. You weren't supposed to skate. You're not supposed to do that. You were told not to do that. You know what I mean? So skateboarders always had to make it happen. Make it happen. You don't hear much about. Well, there is like in anything, and there's exceptions. You don't find a lot of like skateboard moms, like or like soccer moms or whatever.
That's
It's
true.
because
You don't see moms.
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
when
that's
they
true.
when they show up to the park and all that, and you create that babying and all that, it kind of loses its coreness or its validity or I don't know. It loses its mystique with the kids. The kids know what's real. The kids know, you know. So you can't fool the kids. I mean, the parents. I want to go skate with my kid, and I feel like I'm not a bad skater. I mean, I haven't skated in years. I got old school tricks. But even when I go to the park, my kid, he wants to skate over there, and if I start doing stuff, he wants to do his thing, And I understand, and I get it. I get it, And motocross, it's cool when you have kids that are out there riding and it's all great, but a lot of times the parents create the unnecessary drama. It's not the kids. The kids don't know about no drama. The kids they just want to ride. It's the parents.
fun.
You cheated. You cheated. You I don't know, whatever. You did whatever, and it's silliness that at the end of the day, and that's what I learned going to the States. Like you get so worked up about these little things. Like you get so worked up if your kid turned 3 feet before the turn because he made a mistake, that you need to go protest and you need to write a letter and you need to get the kid disqualified and you need to make this big deal about it like he's a cheater. Bro, it's 3 feet on a dirt bike track in Panama. So that's where I think sometimes the parents create the drama. And that's where motocross, in the bigger ranks though, then it gets tough and then you gotta learn to fend for yourself, But like in anything, anytime there's a lot of families, there's gonna be drama and you gotta expect it and you gotta deal with it and you gotta appreciate it as well.
Truth. Hey, anyone out there listening? We got a lot of people listening and commenting about the philosophies and whatnot, but I don't hear any questions. Let's get some more questions out there for Rudy Waller.
I've got HB. I got a shout out, not a question. Another shout out from Trina. Trina, please give us some questions. She says Panama has a few, and there's 2 little goats. Rudy and Tropo are 2 of them. So you guys are goats.
Right. Thank you, Trina. I love you and
goats.
As long as I'm not a ghost.
Trina, that's a person, beautiful family, big heart.
Family. There, you said it. Yeah.
No doubt.
Great. Corundu, you guys grew up together in the Corundu area. Is that not right?
I kind of grew up everywhere. I grew up a little bit of everywhere. I lived in Corundu for a long time. But we're Corunduites. My family lived, I think, right on the next street over from them before I was born.
Here's a question for you from Hugo Cabrera. Juice asks, is Rudy still sponsored?
Yeah. I have sponsors. I'm sponsored by Terpel. It's a gasoline company. I'm an ambassador, influencer. I still do some riding again. Like I said, I'll do some little. Well, I haven't lately been hurt, but I still have some sponsors. GoPro. I have some other product sponsors as well, but yeah, I'm still sponsored. Thank God.
Very cool. Send in those questions.
We've got another question over here from Trina, guys. She says, "What was your toughest or closest race?"
Race? Oh. Toughest. I don't know. Like,
does any event stand out as like the thrill of victory or the agony of defeat? Does any one event stand out in your mind?
There's one. Yeah. I in 1987 I was Latin American motocross champion. And it was for me the like I don't want to say pinnacle because I was a kid, and then so much came after that. But like that was the highest achievement, maybe on paper, that I guess I could say like that made me know that hey, you know, I'm pretty good. You know, you know I beat the guys here a lot and all that. And again, I was never that serious about it. I always liked skateboarding, and I always liked bicycles, and I always liked surfing, and I always liked football, and I always liked roller skating at the pier 18. You know, I always liked going to the Gap and playing ping pong. You know, I was into that. Kids that race motocross now that you see on TV, that you guys the reason I say that is because the kids you guys see, the people that you see, those kids, they don't do that. They don't do all that. They have homeschool, teachers, bikes, trainers, you know, computers hooked up to everything, and they're at the track. They're living at a track. They got a track in their backyard, and they spend their whole youth, you know, training.
One thing.
Training.
That's an interesting point. Because in the Canal Zone,
Which is good, but I that wasn't me.
I did everything. I did archery, ping pong. We did everything. We got exposed to everything.
Yeah.
That's
people
very
don't
interesting.
Understand that. When people in the States ask you that, they're like they talk about football or they talk about stuff that they did. They don't think that you know what they're talking about. But we did the same stuff. The same. You know? We had the same, if not more organized. Like, come on. Who in the States has a draft like we did in football?
That was tough,
man. That was crazy when HB told me that, man.
We had a draft, and you're like signed for life. And you gotta get a release to get traded. You know, come on.
That was crazy.
People were serious, man. People were serious, man.
Crazy.
I've got a question for you, Rudy. What,
HB.
Yeah.
Sorry, before we get to your question, if we can answer Trina. Trina's been patiently waiting.
Go ahead,
with
Trina.
the second question. And Trina says, what did you have to change about your style from professional racing to X Games freestyle?
Excellent.
I had to learn to not. I had to learn that it wasn't a competition and that it was have fun, because there's different freestyles. Again, there's different freestyles. There's the freestylers like those guys that created a sport and that trained hard for it and worked hard to get where they're at. I worked, but I had a good time. We had a good time. I'd say the first generation of riders had a good time. You know, we had a good time. It wasn't about like I didn't think I was ever gonna really win anything because I knew I was in the wrong place. I knew I was in Florida. I knew it was a sport that was changing every day. Like literally, we drew our ramps on a napkin. We drew our ramps with Travis Willis and Kenny Yoho and myself and Ronnie Renner. We drew some ramps on we're like, hey, these guys are jumping over there with these dirt. Well, we took a napkin and we said, what if we put this dirt hill and we put wheels on the dirt hill and pull it? Because we can make it out of metal. Why not? You know? And we did that, and we went in Florida. Come on, like over there in California, you can sell stuff like we're going to the Speedway and sell freestyle motocross. Here in Florida, we had to go like to the mud bogs or to the, you know, carny shows like in the, you know, deep, and be like, hey man, sit down and sit with these guys, you know, and talk and sell them on this idea. Hey, we're gonna do this show. What do you mean you're gonna do this show? Well, we're gonna set up these ramps, this hill. We're gonna put it right here, and we're gonna jump over your building. How about that? You're not gonna do that. You know, we're gonna jump over your strip club, and we're gonna jump over right here. We'll jump 3 times a day. We charge this much, and we want tips, and it's gonna be good for your business. And we'll make you a flyer. We'll make you a video, whatever, to make the sale. And that's what we started doing. And then that nobody did that before. The only people that did that were the guys that rode around in the ball, you know, or on the wall.
Yeah.
you know, and
Cyclodrome, I think it's called.
and that's super hard. Like, I know some of those guys, like the Ives brothers. Shout out to them. They're probably not listening, but there's a lot of guys out there that are super good at that, and it's hard. But it was always something you saw at the circus, the carnival, or whatever. So we were kind of the first generation to bring this legit thing that was core into the circus, per se.
Do you think that skater attitude of making it happen, did that help you
of course.
to be a pioneer in the extreme sports?
100%, 100%, because I was jumping at monster truck shows in Alabama to a 15,000 people crowd, right, in Alabama, jumping my dirt bike, and I'm selling stenciled with a spray can T-shirts that say ECX, whatever, or my crew. I'm selling Polaroids of us with the bike, because we're making this up as we go along, to make some money.
That's hard.
We're like, all right, let's
merch.
Yeah, and we did that for a long time. Shit. We did that for a long time all over. I've all over the world. I've done that. I've done it like it's the craziest. I've done it wherever you can think of. Wherever I've done a show at the
top three places, because last week we ended with a cliffhanger.
No, man, I don't even know top three, but I can tell you.
I told them.
Wait. We've got. Sorry, I'm getting more questions than Instagram that I've ever gotten in my life. So I feel we owe it to the Instagram people to answer their questions.
But I've jumped at circuses. I've jumped at high wire acts. I've jumped at concerts. I've jumped at a concert. One time I jumped at a concert with 38 Special, and there was about 38 people in the crowd. You know what I mean? And whatever, we did it. That's what it is. What it is. So it's like, we'll do it. We'll do it. We ECX FMX. That was the name of our crew. East Coast Extreme. And we had our motto was the show must go on. Don't matter. The show must go on.
Man, I feel like I can do.
You know why? You know why that was our motto? Because when you're getting paid to go do a show for a top promoter or like this big contest you see on TV, and you go and you fly in on your jet or whatever, and then you get there and you go jump, and it rains. You know what? You get a rain check, and you go home. We drive from Florida to friggin' Tupelo, Mississippi, or anywhere.
Tupelo.
Anywhere you want, man. Duquan, Illinois, I don't know, whatever. And you get there and it rains, guess what? You don't get paid unless you jump. So the show must go on. And we made it happen. We made it happen, and that's a different type of rider. I pumped out 40, 50 shows or more a year, sometimes over 100 shows a year. Some people do 4, 5, 3.
Wow. That's a hustle, man. That's like nonstop.
Before we get to the questions on Instagram, I would like to ask you, like, you've traveled around the U.S., but what is the most far-flung place on the earth that you've been to?
Yeah. For sure.
Far-flung? If you just took
a place you never expected to be at.
If you just spun that globe, threw a dart at it, I'd probably been there. Right there, Easter Island.
Yeah. Well, Trina Clark actually, since you said Easter Island, she says, tell them the Easter Island story, Rudy! ! This is
the cliffhanger that I left last week. I was like, when I asked Rudy, he told me, I'm not going to tell you. You're going to have to tune in next week.
One of the people or companies that I haven't mentioned at all, but they're the ones that really, I believe that we owe this whole movement of freestyle to. It's called Crusty Demons of Dirt, or Flesh Wound Films, And to me, I owe my whole career to them, as I feel like most of the freestylers do. A lot of people might not admit it, whatever, but they made this sport, man. Like they were guys that were like into snowboarding. They were filmers. They filmed. One was a pro snowboarder. Other guy's a filmer, and they would go do snowboard videos and all that, and all around like skateboard videos. There we go again, like like with like different motocross videos used to be just a lot of clips of races, with Van Halen Jump, you know, or that kind of music. These guys come and they bring this whole snowboard, skateboard attitude of raise hell, punk rock, go party, you know, get wild as you can, get as gnarly as you can, get as crazy as you can. And we're going to film it and we're going to sell it. And they did that. That's what kind of really, to me, started the whole movement. So, but then they did the series called Crusty Demons of Dirt, you know, and I came along around Crusty Demons of Dirt 3 or 4, God Bless the Freaks, I think it was called. And I met them in Costa Rica. I was there racing. I spoke English, you know. I just liked their vibe. I raced. They had a halftime show. I entered it. I did well. They're like, hey, you want to come on tour with us? Why not? Took off. And the rest was history. Then came back to Panama. Nothing was ever the same. So with them, every year we would travel. Like, they would look up stuff. Like, Latin America was, I don't want to say it was my department because obviously I don't have a department, but I was like their guy for Latin America. So they'd be like, hey, Rudy, we have these heads over here in Chile. Do you know anything about that? Do some research, set it up. Let's go. They have these monuments in Mexico. Do your research. It was all like that. Like I rode all over, man. I got to go and ride on the Moais and Easter Island. We went out there and filmed, and we, I think it was, they told them that we were filming for National Geographic and all this, and they got us. So we got the bikes flown, motorcycles, race bikes, full-on bikes, all the way out there. And we did all our filming. We did all our filming and everything. And then there was a guy that was more studious or whatever. Like, he knew kind of what was going on. And next thing you know, we were supposed to leave the island. Oh, there was a dengue outbreak, so everyone had evacuated the island. So it was dengue. And then, like, some of the other riders from California were with us. And they're like, dude, I'm not going there. They were, a little higher profile names, so I understand. So they're like, I'm not going out there. I'm leaving. So me and my boy Kenny Yoho were like, we're down. Let's go. We took the plane out there with the bikes, rode. Oh, it was incredible. I met a caveman. I met a guy who literally lives in a cave, hung out. It was crazy. This guy, stories I could tell you. The guy does a race every year where he has to carry some egg from the top of the mountains over there where all those heads are, and swim out to some island with his egg. And whoever comes back with the egg without breaking it is the king of the island. Like, what? Serious shit. Yeah. One of the guys kept asking me for my bike, and he said he knew how to ride, and he really didn't, and he bothered me all weekend. And then he took my bike, and he was gone for all day long. But it was a small island, like a little bit bigger than Conador, I'd say. I mean, I'm not sure the exact dimensions, but it was awesome. But when we were gonna leave, police came and said, "Hey, you guys gotta come here. You guys were riding on sacred ground, and you got these fines and all these fines, and the bikes can't leave, and you can't leave the island, and no one can leave. So what are we gonna do? I don't know. I try to talk, but now we're not even like my Spanish isn't gonna help us out. We're on Easter Island out there. We're Rapa Nui.
You're in the middle of the ocean, man.
Yeah.
What did you do?
I don't know. Something happened, and then the guy that was like the dick, he left for a second, and then, of course, my boys that were there, they were on top of it. They always carry boxes of swag, like hats and T-shirts and stuff like that. Gave them all the hats and the T-shirts and the merch. Traded. Goodbye. Loaded the bikes on. Have a nice day. We took off. Ooh, we made it. We made it right before the guys got back. We left. It was a good time. It was a good time.
So did you jump over one of those heads or something, or between?
We were jumping in front of them. Like, we put these not ramps. I mean, we weren't doing donuts or anything on them. We were jumping in front of them to get the shot. We would jump, and we were jumping in front of them. But from the angles, it would look like we weren't jumping over them. They were in the background. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you're still not supposed to be riding motorcycles anywhere around there. But this was 20 years ago, maybe, something like that.
Wow, that's wild.
So nobody knew about that. I mean, come on, we were taking dirt bikes
You were
out
trying
there.
to get your shot, and you went
Yeah,
out there
yeah,
and you got it. And then,
yeah, yeah. So
speaking of merch, if anyone's interested in buying Rapscallions merch, because I know you are, go to PanamaRP.com.
hold on,
I
I'll be right
know
back.
you Panameño can remember that. PanamaRP.com has all of our links. It has the links to our shirts. We did a collaboration with another shirt company. You can buy that one there. And I've talked to some friends. Some of my friends have called me after a show saying how much they love the show. And we always talk about how you can click on a Patreon and how you can click on a Buy Me a Coffee. Hey, times are tough. Maybe you can't do that. But one way that you can support us is if you like the episode, share it on your social because
Share it.
that gets us the views, man. The more
That's right.
views we get, the better. And
Hey, and tell people about us, man. Be like, yo, you know what I did on Sunday? I was listening to Rapping with Rapscallions. They had this guy named Rudy Waller who's insane. I learned so much.
a lot
What
of
up,
people
Tell
say
your
that, man.
people. Tell your people, man. Tell your people. I have another question on the gram. I have another,
Hot,
first.
man.
I'm gonna say. So Trina says legends hashtag crusty demons. Now I understand why she said that because of the story you just told us.
I
And
mean,
she
those
says
guys
you
are
wrote.
legends, man. Those guys are legends, man. Those guys. I owe
She
everything
said.
to them.
She says you rode and hung with legends like Travis Pastrana.
Yeah,
I said that correctly, I think. Pastrana, yeah.
those guys are all legends.
And we have Chechi's chiming in. Chechi, the new father, he has a
Congratulations,
question.
Chet. Congratulations.
Congratulations,
It's the
Chechi. He
best.
says, man, I hope it's an experience that we all get to have
Oh yeah, it's the best. You will.
in our lives at some point.
At a
Chechi
time.
says, as a motorsport athlete, do you prefer skate or longboard skateboarding?
Come on. You know. Come on.
Longboard.
Well,
Longboard?
all right. No.
No, you prefer
Skateboards.
half pipe, dude.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm old school, so I ride like my board is kind of half between longboard and a regular board, but no, I don't have longboard.
That
No?
where were you at on the pictures on the Facebook a
No,
few
Mikey.
months ago? That was in was it Punta Barco, right? That's a swimming pool or what? What was that setup?
They have it's called High Tide Pump Track. And they have in Punta Barco, they have a pump track. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's basically like
No.
a track of cement with bumps, moguls like that, and berms. And you go on your skateboard. It can be a longboard or not a longboard, but you go on it. And as you're going up and down, you're pumping and pumping and you're gaining speed. So you can go around indefinitely. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun. Super good exercise. I just wish I was born in these days instead of back in the day when we didn't have any of that stuff. Like now, there's so much to do at the beaches. They have 2 of those now, but that High Tide Pump Track, they should go check it out. Punta Barco, High Tide Pump Track.
High
Check
Tide
them out.
Pump Track.
They also, as I understand it, they do also have COVID precautions. You rent it beforehand. You have
If you
your
have COVID,
certain
don't go.
allotted time.
That's good advice.
Yeah, COVID, don't go.
I got a question for you. Is what did you win any awards in the surf competitions?
I got a couple trophies. Not anything significant. Like I don't think I'd be considered. No, I did. I got a couple trophies. I did it I love surfing. I'll always love surfing. Surfing is just
so
a
if you
different.
if you went back and you could whisper something into the ear of Yuri the youth, which sport would you tell him to focus more on?
Truth.
That's a tough one. That's a brain cracker right there.
And
Golf.
Golf?
golf.
Yeah. You break the least amount of bones on golf.
Golf. Golf.
Golf. I like that.
Golf. No, shoot. In the sports that I've done, motorcycles, just because I don't think I would have ever. I don't know. I don't want to say I would have never been as successful, but motorcycling, like I said, God's timing is perfect. Like I was just there. I was just happened to be at the right places at the right times, and I was able to be a part of something that's
you're a
special.
pioneer, so.
That I feel like I was a part of something that's gonna go down in history. So I feel special. I do feel special. I feel like part of my legacy was fulfilled there. It didn't exist. It really didn't exist. You know, it didn't exist. Like some people
You know,
called it
I want to say
motocross.
thank you for being on the show, because I think that a lot of the people who consider you friends and family haven't seen this aspect of your career. So
That's
thank you
beautiful,
so
man.
much for coming on the show.
No doubt,
It's
man.
been,
No doubt.
so far,
No
it's been
doubt.
amazing.
Hey, and we got
I enjoyed talking about it. I do, and again, when I get a chance to, I do, you know. But a lot of my friends that I grew up with, I don't want to say they don't know the extent of it, but I get a lot of people still tell me like, "Hey, you still doing the bicycles?" You know, like they see me, like, "Hey, you still doing the
the
bicycles?" You know?
bicycles.
And I said, "Yeah, yes,
I got
of course,
some.
yeah, man, bicycle, yeah. You know,
Dude,
and I get it. You're not supposed to do that when you're almost 50 years old. You know what I mean? But it's what I love to do. It's what I love to do, and now you don't need to do it competitively. I can pass on what I've learned to other people, you know, and make their journey a little more pleasant, maybe, because
Truth.
that's another thing. I didn't really have that here, man. I didn't have someone that I could we didn't have as riders here. You didn't have that. Like you asked the older generation tips and stuff like that. They made fun of you, kind of. You know what I mean? Like, ¿qué te
Right.
pasa a ti? ¿La hueva o qué? You know what I mean? So it's like you had to be tough. You had to be like, I don't need your help. You know what I mean? I'll figure it out on my own. And now, it feels so much better to see a kid move along so much faster because he can develop his natural ability just by not making the mistakes you made, you know? And I enjoy that. I enjoy sharing, not
mentorship,
just
I
with
think.
motorcycles though, too. And that's the thing, like, and it's maybe because I have my own kid, but I've been teaching motorcycle schools. That's been my go-to, like every injury since I was 16. Motocross schools, and that always paid the bills, and that
That's an
always,
interesting department, Rudy.
you
Is
know.
I think tell us about your involvement with the Panamanian government.
Oh, the government. I did
Well, the
some.
positive part of it.
I taught some police for a while. I taught the SFAE. I got an opportunity from a good friend of mine that was a very good friend, Teniente Lopez. He got me an opportunity to go sit down with one of the guys in charge of the presidential police, and you know, we got to speaking, and my dad was a riding instructor here at Albrook for the Department of Defense, all that stuff. He used to teach lessons
Right.
over there in Albrook, and I used to go with him in the morning and set up his cones and do all that at the Albrook field. Well, I don't know. I kind of got to talking to this guy, and I said, "Hey, well, you know, all that stuff you're teaching them, that's not going to really. It doesn't work. That works in a parade if they're going to lay on the bike and do all that." They gave me the opportunity. I trained a special unit that did not exist before, that was created because of an idea that I had of a light tactical assault group, pretty much.
Wow.
Assault and recovery. And
That's cool.
and this came up from getting on, again, hustling and being like, all right, what am I going to offer this guy? You know, what are we going to do? I know I can help them. I don't have no doubt I can help all those. I don't have a doubt I can help your pizza delivery guy be a better rider, you know?
Right.
But how am I going to sell that?
You can definitely help the guy, like
Pizza.
the stories that you hear of the linces going up stairways and stuff.
Yeah.
You
For
know,
sure.
like,
Well, I trained with one of the guys from the Linces, and well, we created this little unit, and 17 graduates of it was called the Curso Intensivo de, like, it was a light assault and recovery group, and they did that for the whole last government. This new government, I don't know, they've been disbanded and doing their other things, but I know every single one of those riders can go up the stairs. I know they can go up the track. I took those guys from, and then when we started this whole thing, they were going to bring me the best of the linces to train. Well, that didn't happen because of politics, and I ended up getting 17 dudes that had never even popped a clutch in a car.
No way.
Yeah.
So you got beginner riders.
Beginners.
What in
And
your
they all
opinion is
passed,
the
and
difference
I took
between?
them to all the tracks. They rode around every track in Panama. Awesome.
Is it?
Wow.
Do you think there's an interesting difference between kind of like tactical riding and professional motocross riding? Is there different things they have to keep in mind?
Yeah. One's a race and one's survival. I mean, it's different. It's like when you're riding on the street, it's way different. You're not. I don't know.
Don't fall.
Well,
Don't fall down.
It's different. You have guns. You have a passenger. You're going through tight spaces. Like a lot of times in motocross, you want your body position to be up and over. When you're up and over, you can't do that. And through cars and stuff, you got to be in and tight. So you don't hit the cars. Just counterbalance. And I'd say the number one thing is trust in your partner. You know what I mean? Like, are you going to want to get on the bike with somebody doing 60 miles an hour and you turn around backwards to go shoot at a guy coming to sit? You know what I mean? It's a lot of trust you have in this guy back here,
That's
So
very
that-
interesting because
that's-
I've seen them.
Yeah.
I've seen them riding on the
They're
street, and
good.
it's like, yeah. And I'm like, man, that must require a certain amount of training. So you can have the one guy who's like, he's driving, and the guy behind him with the gun.
Yeah.
Like,
And if he falls,
I wouldn't.
they're taking his gun. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he's
yeah.
done.
True.
So, yeah, those guys are good. Sometimes they, like, I don't train the lean sets. I have trained with them, but those guys are good. I believe, compared to all Latin America, I think that they're some of the best riding off-road and urban assault riding forces in Latin America. I think other countries like Dominican and stuff like that, they come here to learn from these guys. These guys are good. They you got to remember, when you learn in a country that it rains 9 months out of the year, you learn to ride in the sloppiest, wet, slipperiest terrain available.
Sure.
And so if you learn to ride like that, I think nothing's gonna stop you. You know what I mean? Like, we have the opportunity here in Panama to learn to ride every terrain. We have from the slick, high elevations in Boquete, Volcan, beach, sand, desert. We have everything here in Panama that you could want to ride. Jabón, Ilaja,
Jabón.
Cascajo.
Jabón.
So yeah, we have good terrain, and the cops they're good. They're good. They have good equipment. Every year it changes. Every government, the whole squad gets reordered around. But they have good riders.
True.
A couple
That's
of their
good to know,
trainers
man.
are good. I've known a couple of them for a long, long time. I respect them.
That's good to hear.
For sure.
I want to go back a little bit. You're talking about youth riders. I know that you train young or children to ride. Do you have any tips out there? Maybe there's some parents out there listening that want to get their kids have shown interest. What's your first step? What do you recommend?
Actually, HB, sorry if I could. Trina also chimed in on that. She said nobody opened a training camp for kids like Rudy did.
Truth.
I started, I got back here about 10, 11 years ago, more or less. And I started seeing what I could do. And at first it wasn't I just really wanted to get back. It wasn't really about the money and everything, I just thought like, okay, how can I use my platform, what I've built, to give back to this sport that always gives to me. Every time I'm in trouble, motorcycles save me. You know what I mean? So how can I give back to this community? Even though I feel like I came here to get away from that community, you know, to retire or whatnot. And it was always the camps, because it was like, hey, maybe I can introduce them to what I think motocross should be like, to a little bit of what I lived in the States, where it's a family thing and it's not so dramatic and so competitive. And I'm gonna, you know, you were 3.5 minutes late to the starting grid, so I'm taking 25 points from you, and you know, shit like that. Like I try to make it more of the essence of why we all got into this, you know. And then I did that for a lot of years, and I feel like it was called the Rudy Waller Moto Camp series, you know. And I did them all over. I even went and did them up in David. I did them in kind of not the common places, and I got a lot of people involved. God, I can't even believe that I got people involved that are already out. You know what I mean? Like they already lived their career, shined, blossomed.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
No, I'm just saying, like,
Please.
it's been 10 years now, and I mean, I'm just thinking of like these riders that I see, like some of my students now with Facebook, you know, like with Facebook and stuff. Like I see people that I trained a long time ago. Yeah, it's different, but to see people that I've trained on this last back around since 10 years ago or whatever, like I see kids that are pilots, airline pilots now, you know.
Wow.
I see kids graduating from college. I feel so proud of them.
The same things that you felt with Coach Bales, and that implementing or instilling that type of mental fortitude, you pass that on to the kids that are in your camp, and then you see them being a pilot.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, that's the thing, and you know, it's to be a pilot. You can everything that sports taught us can be used. You know, is for everyday life. You know what I mean? It's just I applied it to my everyday life. You know, which was sports or motorcycles or whatever. You know, like if I gotta find
Rudy,
a way to,
and I've got Trina's chiming it in. She says you trained the first top female Yami.
Yeah, you know, that's where I kind of was going at, but not, you know, I don't know if she's done. I don't know, you know, I see her on Facebook and I'm so proud of her because I see her, you know, as she's grown into this young woman, you know, but I when I started here in Panama with her, she was a little girl, you know, man, couldn't be much older than 12 years old or something. And super nice family, you know, they became really, you know, I became really close with them and helped them out. They helped me out, you know, they helped me out through tough times and I helped them out. And she went on to become the best, the GOAT. She is the GOAT of female motocross in Panama, like by helmets ahead of everyone else. You know what I mean? And I mean, I don't know if she's retired now because there hasn't been racing this whole last year because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And the other year. Sure. And a lot changes in 2 years. You know, people get jobs. I don't know if she's racing or not. If she is, I'm sure she's still going to be an assassin out there on the track. But she's so fast that she has a race with the boys, you know, and she still puts it on them, you know. And I was always so proud of her. You know, she went to the Latin American Championships. And I'm saying, like, this girl from Chorrera that I used to call her, like, La Guerrera from Chorrera. You know what I mean? It was like she was no doubt. She's tough, man. She's tough, and I'm super proud of her. She's one of the people that I'm the most proud of because she's gonna go down in history as, you know, as the GOAT. And I'm glad I was able to be a part of that. She allowed me to help her in her beginning days.
Well, I think the same way that you talk about your coaches, she's going to talk about you. That's the mentorship. I think we look for things in life that are fulfilling, and I think passing on your knowledge is also one of the most fulfilling things that you can do.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah.
Indeed.
So for parents out there, what's the first step to get their kids into motocross?
Insurance.
Insurance, truth.
Insurance. Because you're gonna get
No
hurt.
doubt.
I'd say obviously a motorcycle. You can't do it without a motorcycle. But you don't need to go out and break the bank, mortgage your house, sell your cars to get your kid a motorcycle that you don't even know if he's gonna want to do it 3 months from now because a new Fortnite came out.
Yeah.
Get a bike, get a little dirt bike, man. Do it old school way like I did. Get yourself a little dirt bike, go to the tracks. Most of the motocross people are super nice people, They want to help you. They'll take you in. They might try to sell you something, but they'll take you in and sell you their old bike. Really, just get a bike, go to the track, have fun, go out ride, go riding, no pressure, and let the kids decide. Let the kids be the ones that decide,
That's an interesting point that you make there. Like, how with you having done so many different sports and whatnot, how have you introduced these sports to your son, and how do you let him choose which one he's going to gravitate towards?
Yeah.
I try not to get too involved. Like in everything, there's discipline in everything. But I believe that comes in after they've already made the decision. Once they made the choice, if my son was to make the choice and tell me, Dad, I want to do this, then I'm going to do it. But we're going to do it the right way, We're going to have fun, but then there's going to come a time where we're going to train, and there's going to be a time when you don't want to train, and we're going to do it. So back to how I do it with my son is I don't have any expectations, I guess. I don't care because I did it. I'm not, you know what I mean? I already did that. He's not doing this for me. You know what I mean?
That's very wise. Like, imposing your expectations on a young kid is too much pressure. Like, you got to introduce them and see where they flourish, and if they choose to flourish, then you can help impart your
knowledge, experience.
on them.
Yeah, whatever you can do to help their experience, but his experience is going to be another one than mine, and that's one of the best things of being a father that I've encountered is that he's not me. You know what I mean? And people are like, that's another one. People tell me all the time, "Hey, bro, I bet your kid's a champion. He's already doing backflips," and oh, no. And if he wanted to, hey, he's gonna have the tools that he needs, but he's not gonna do it just because that's who his daddy was. You know what I mean?
Truth.
That's what he wants to do. I mean, I enjoy it just the same when he solves a badass math problem that I have no idea what he's doing. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
No doubt.
That's my point is, don't, enjoy it with your kids too, because that's something that my parents did. And I owe that to my parents, because my parents would take me racing, and my mom and dad were serious. Like I told you before, my mom likes it more than me. I would get hurt and I got to break my arm and I didn't want to go. My mom would make me go to races just to go support my friends. I hated it.
Wow.
I hated it. I hated it to be in the cast at the track. But at the end of the day, I was all muddy with all my friends, playing in the mud and enjoying it, supporting them.
Hey, that's a good tip, man. Like,
For sure.
Even if you're in a cast, you got to go out there and be in the energy.
Yeah,
participate
that's
in
right.
the energy.
Well, that's what I mean. That's why once you make that decision and that's what you're gonna do, then you go all out and you give it your 100%. But life is, we don't. There's no reason to like push them right now. Push them as much as they need to be pushed. But let them enjoy it, and you enjoy it with your kids, man. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Go ride. Go have fun. Go watch them. Go see how you can help them. Ask them. You know, ask your kid, how can I help you? You know?
Like that. That's inspiring.
That's very interesting because I don't think anybody thinks about that. They don't. You don't think about asking someone, "Yo, how may I help you?" Especially if it's your kids, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You're just like, "I'm
tell
going
them.
to tell you how I can help you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do that with my son all the time. And he says, Dad, you know, and I'm like, you're right, son. So now I'm like, hey, go practice your ollie, you know, and, you know, if you need any help, ask me. And he does it.
Right.
He goes and does it over there, you know, and he'll figure it out. I figured it out. My dad was a lot older than most of my friends' dads, so I had to figure out a lot of the stuff by myself, you know, or from my other Zonian family, like, you know.
It's true. It's like I always tell everyone, like, your brother is the one that taught me how to do the remote control airplanes, you know?
Yeah.
His Zonian family.
Yeah. And that's how it is. I mean, that's how it was. I mean, we had dads like Mr. McGinnis that would help us with football. You know, it was a big family. Like I knew, like, if I was ever anywhere within the canal zone, I was okay. You know what I mean? There was going to be someone there to help me.
Yeah.
Sure.
Zonian family. We're getting on 4:56.
Yeah.
We're almost at 5 o'clock. Do we want to end it? Do we want to go a little bit over? Do we have
Whatever.
some more? Does anybody have some more questions for Rudy Waller?
Is there people really on here
You want to
watching?
know?
Is there people
Well,
There's
watching?
never
we got-
anyone on.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of viejos.
Trina is on the gram and she says hashtag right on. And she says that Yami is a beast.
It's all good. You know, Yami is a beast. And then she is. And I mean, you know, I'll pass it to her so she can hear her part of it, because the truth is she's a beast, man. And I'm proud of her. I'm proud of a lot of the kids. It's been 10 years now since I've been back. And it's like, I came back and I was like, you know, let's do this. And now there's kids that, like I said, pilots, and they're grown up now. And I'm like, you know, I'm proud of them because I know something stuck with them. And it's probably Train Like a Champion today. You know what I mean? That I learned from someone else. So
I think
For sure.
that's an important thing to pass on, because, you know, whenever I have an ache or a pain and someone asks me like, well, you shouldn't have played American football, I was like, oh no, I would absolutely do it again. And they ask why. I was like, because then I know my limits. I know what I can push myself to do. And you face off with someone for 4 quarters playing American football. And then even with soccer, you know, you have 2 red cards and you're 2 men down and you're running twice as much. You have to push yourself, and being able to push yourself. And I really love what you said earlier about getting up after an injury because you're still breathing, and because you're so excited about what you might be able to do tomorrow.
Yeah, man. There's so much potential in our own existence.
yeah, I mean,
We could achieve so many things.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm right now, I'm injured, and I know it's a serious injury. It's a serious injury. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna bullshit you. It's a serious injury.
Give us the peace sign. Give us the
You know?
peace sign.
You know what I mean? It's a serious injury. I'm not trying to make light of it, but I have to take it for what it is, and understand that it's not the end of it. It's not. Man, there's so much that I'm so ready to do right now. Like, if I could duct tape this hand up right now, just duct tape it up, and I knew it was gonna still be all right, and I could go surf the swell that there is right now, and it's just gonna hurt, I'd have that thing duct taped up right now. But, you know what I mean? I can't do that anymore. I used to do that. And so now I listen to what the doctor says, because I'm so appreciative, because I know that I got a lot of time to do all that stuff. We all do.
Sure.
Right?
That's a good. I like that one too. That's a good philosophical statement. Like, even though you want to move forward, sometimes you got to sit back, but don't stop appreciating the future. You know?
It's
That's
a process. It's a process, and every second that you're there, recovering or healing or whatever, you're going through things. You're learning. You're going through experiences. So it's all a part of it. It's all. We're all connected. We're all connected.
True.
No doubt.
Well, I think I want to wind it down. It's been an amazing show. It's been amazing to learn more about my friend who I've known my whole life. Joe, can you wrap us up? As soon as Joe wraps us up, you're going to get your chance to wrap us up too, Rudy.
Okay.
I'm
Oh
really
my
interested
gosh.
because this has been, not only has it been stimulating as far as extreme sports and how to push your body, how to get up after an injury, but there's a mentality to that. So,
For
Joe,
sure.
wrap us up. Do us
For
a,
sure.
do us
I
a
don't think
statement, man.
I don't think there's much I can say, man, compared to the person
Like what,
that
a
we've
rap?
been
Like a
speaking
song?
to today.
It's a little
rap?
inspirational speech usually at the
Like
end
a
of the show.
positive statement.
I
I've
thought it
got
was like a rap
Trina,
song.
who
Oh,
Trina
you can
signing
rap,
out. She
Rudy, if you
says
want.
Trina says she loved this episode. Love you guys. I have to tune into the SAS concert, so she's off to do that.
Oh, I'll see
But
you there, Trina.
man,
Yeah, the
I'll see
SAS
you there.
concert's happening right
Peace
now.
out.
it's happening
tune
now. But it's been an inspiration, man. And I just think, man, even I just met Rudy today, and I feel inspired.
This is
So I'm
Tom.
just gonna look
Hey,
at that.
what's up, Tom? There
Hey,
you
Tom,
go.
over to you, Rudy.
Tom's
over
a
to
pretty
you, man. I
decent
want you to close
skateboarder,
us out.
too. Oh,
He's
man.
doing skating. Wrap us up, Rudy. Tell the people
Oh,
how to
man.
get up and get out there.
That's right.
Go do it. Have fun. Don't let don't let anybody tell you you can't do it. Just, it's all up to you. If have a good time. Man. Have a good time. Enjoy what you have, because nothing is promised. I mean, we've learned all of us have learned that through this pandemic. Tomorrow's not promised to anybody. So enjoy it. Enjoy it. And if life kicks you in the teeth, smile, because it's just a tooth. You'll be
She's
back.
out.
Tooth,
No
you're
doubt.
still- I like that.
Just
You're
a tooth.
still breathing. You're still breathing.
You're still breathing.
Um,
and, I mean, again, maybe I can say that because it's just a little finger. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. That's not. But maybe I would think different. I thought the same when I broke my neck. So I don't know. I don't think it's that. I think that the truth is, I'm when you go through something like that, you appreciate life and you appreciate what you have, and it could have been way so much worse. And my life is good.
Word. Amen. Preach.
I was going to try and come up with something, but I don't think I can top that. Guys, we've heard from Rudy Waller. He's a motocross champion. I think he's actually a life champion, because what he does is he gets knocked down, he gets back up, and he tells everyone,
True.
you're still breathing, and you better be excited about what's coming next. One
That's
of the
right.
people that was chiming in before was Alex Reyes, part of Short and Slim. They have a concert. I'll try and post that in our Facebook, and I want to wrap up the show. Rudy, thank you 1,000 times.
Thank
This
you,
has been
man.
an excellent show, man.
Had a great
Been
time,
awesome.
For
man.
sure, man.
Got to talk
Good
about
luck,
a lot of
man.
things. I appreciate it. Thanks.
And
Thank you.
we'll try and do it again. We'll
Anytime.
try to do it again in a later date.
We'll get Melvin. We'll
Um,
talk about Elvira.
We got tons to talk about. Drink beer, drink rum. So
Maybe I'll give me
Tune
a
in.
column. Give me a column.
we
Rudy-
could do the Rudy's Rapscallion column. It
Rudy's
rhymes.
wall hit.
That's right.
Rudy's wall hit.
Wall hit Waller. That's what they used to
Wall
call
hit
me
Waller.
sometimes. Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna wrap
All
it
right,
up.
bud.
Everyone, every Sunday at 3 p.m. we've got great shows. Maybe you can't contribute to the show, but you can help us out by sharing. You can find all our shows easily by going to PanamaRP.com. Click on your social media of choice, Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. If you want to buy a T-shirt, that helps us out. If you want to do a Patreon, that helps us out. Tough times, just share the show that's your favorite and help people find us. Thank you so much, Joe. Thank you so much, Rudy. And thank you so much, Rapscallions. We'll see you all next Sunday at 3 p.m., 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Times. I'm talking longer because I have more buttons to press. And
Push.
special thanks to our sponsor, who is Luke Roberts.
Robertson.
What up, Luke?
Yeah.
J-O-E in the place to be. HB on the track, it's like ecstasy. Rowing a well of 7 years, what we drinking be. Trying to sling the dopest rhymes in the galaxy. Let me take a minute though and relax your mind. Sometimes these words can be hard to find. 24/7 on that daily grind. Hearing voices in my head, man, they not that kind. Cause bitches be bitches, snitches keep snitching. The world keeps turning, and I keep hitching a ride instead of living my life. Yo.
Man, when you feel hungry, don't you have to eat?
Yo, pump up the volume and digest this beat.
Rapscallions in the house with this lyrical truth.
When we're done with you, you're gonna ice your feet.
If the world ends tomorrow and you had one chance,
Hey yo, would you start the move like it's your last dance?
yo, do something small in the past and present changes.
Do something now, the future rearranges.
Cause bitches keep bitching.
Yo, snitches keep snitching.
The world keeps turning.
And you start living your life instead of hitching a ride. Rapscallions. J-O-E in the place to be. HB on the track, it's like ecstasy. Rowing a well of 7 years, what we drink and be. Trying to sling the dopest rhymes in the galaxy. Let me take a minute though and relax your mind. Sometimes these words can be